That's kind of the big piece is like people forget that golf is like it's an athletic movement. I think a lot of people like hear stuff like this and they're like super overwhelmed with like where to start. And I always say just do it poorly.
How awesome is it finishing right at sunset? That's an underrated golf moment.
I can't have the expectation to go out there and shoot 72 every time I go play if I don't have the competency to go out there and do that. For all those people who want to be getting better at golf, like it all starts from awareness.
I'm reading the putt and like I can see it really well, and it just like I was behind the ball and I just remember like looking and I just kind of like looked up at the grandstands and like how big it was, and I just kind of started laughing a little bit. And like Rev, reads all my putts with me, kind of confirms. He's like, "What'd you say?" I was like, "I've made so many of these fucking putts in my life." I was like, "I'm good, dude." I'm like, "You're good." And it was weird. Like I never had a feeling on a putt that big that like I'm gonna make this, but I just won't forget like being behind there and just kind of like looking up there like this is going to be so sick. And it was just all I told myself. I'm like, just stay in it. I'm like, you'll be able to see the putt go in as many times as you want on highlights if it goes in. I'm like, just stay in the putt. Like, don't look up to try to watch it or anything. I'm like, just hit the right speed and this is going in. And it was really cool.
He allowed the moment to just be there, right?
Yep.
Like, he was saying like he looked around at like, like how sick is this?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then was like, oh yeah, let me just go back to what I'm doing and I see the line, let me just go do it. The
Mm-hmm.
only thing that I would say like would be like a, just like probably a yellow flag is like when
Mm-hmm.
he's like, don't go here, don't go there. Like he's trying to like close this like parameter in.
Direct traffic.
Yeah. I would have almost loved it if he was just like, I looked around and was like, dude, this is wild. And then look at that putt and be like, oh yeah, I see the line, like get out of here. Right.
Yeah.
And then you just go and do it. Right. And
Yeah.
I think that's like, it's little stuff like that, for JT, he's one of the best golfers on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So like he's comfortable being in that moment. Right.
Yep.
He's comfortable being able to say, hey, let me dial back into what it is that I'm doing. And, that's what I tell people all the time. Like when confidence is there naturally, ride it. Right. But
Yeah.
like, like he knew that putt was going in. Yes, ride it. Absolutely. You don't have to go and manifest something like that. And good things happen, right? When you just allow
Mm-hmm.
that thing to be there. It's, when you start getting into the like should, coulds, don'ts, that where
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden you're like, again, like now I'm getting pulled way away. And for him, it was like, hey, like, no, we're here. Like, let's just stay here. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is a cool spot to be. Like, I
Yeah.
love that. I thought that was great.
I loved it. I like it the most when I'm comparing that to an average golfer, right, who's not going to have the grandstands of the Ryder
Yeah.
Cup. It's just it could be something as simple as playing a very nice course and you want to score well there, but you're thinking so much on the score that you're ignoring the ambiance of where you're at. Maybe like a very
Yeah.
scenically nice, maybe an ocean type course, and you ignore that for the punishment of yourself for not playing well potentially, right? Instead of just taking in like this is sick. Like let me just make a good swing here.
And I've even played rounds with like buddies where like it's friends who I haven't seen in a while, or like we're playing like it doesn't even have to be like it's not like we're playing like Pinehurst or something like that, but like we were playing out in the mountains one time, and it was just like this. It's sick mountain golf, right? Like
Yeah.
like massive elevation changes and all that other stuff, and like we were just on the tee box, and like the group of us were just like, dude, this is sick, this is awesome, and like we were playing okay golf, like some of us were playing better than others, but like we just had fun.
Yep.
And I think that that's a piece that just like with the average golfer is it like, and I don't know if it's like a cultural thing, if it's like the game of golf, but like just being able to go out and have fun. Like when we played, right? Like I played horribly, right? Like it wasn't a good round. My swing kind of fell apart. Like I still had a great time.
It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad.
But
Certainly seen
you know what
worse.
I mean? It's like we still went out and had fun. Like the goal was to just go out and have a good time and hit some golf balls.
How awesome is it finishing right at sunset? That's an underrated golf moment.
Yeah.
If you're able to time that winter PM just right.
You get a sick sunset, nothing better.
Yeah, just right. You finish you're on the last hole and you can barely see, but you can see enough.
Yeah.
That's a bit that's a nice moment. How much do you think that his confidence that he was going to make it contributed to him actually making it from a moment standpoint, not a confidence standpoint, because he you could be confident and not make it.
I don't think it was a confidence thing. I think it was a trust thing more so. Right? Like
Trust
you
in the
listen,
competency.
yeah, like you listen, like him being able to like trust his line, right? Like, he had somebody, like he was saying his caddy comes in and almost just like confirms the line,
Mm.
right? Like for
Simple
him,
conversation, no overthought.
yeah. So like for him, he saw a line and was like, I can commit like, and this is just like me reading between the lines, but like I can commit like hell to that line. when he said, I can go back and watch this as much as I want if it goes in.
Yep.
Right? He didn't say when it goes in. Right? Look, you can be confident in a line. I've done it many a times, but I'm not on the PGA Tour. But like you see a line that you're confident in, and then all of a sudden there's a little extra wiggle or a little extra break. You don't catch your speed the right way.
Mhm.
Right. So for him, like it was almost like there was a subconscious acknowledgement of the fact that once it leaves his putter face, he has no control. So like that, it's stuff like that. Like it's little things, but it makes it a massive difference.
Mhm.
Whereas like if he was saying like, I know that this is going to go in. No, you don't.
Right. No, it is
Right?
not.
Like I talk with the fighter pilots that I work with. They have to, they're dropping bombs from however high up that they are. And that changes depending on what they're doing. And I ask them all the time. I say, have you ever dropped a bomb and missed a target and you've done everything perfectly? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, what happened? They're like, weather kicked up or this, that, and the other thing happened. And I was like, cool. So we really don't have that much control over the outcome. Right. And
Mhm.
it sounds like for JT, like he can get dialed into a moment and commit to the things that he has to commit to. And then the outcome's the outcome.
Right.
Right. Like we've all flushed a drive or flushed an iron and been like, that's the one. And it's 10 yards over the green or it's 10 yards short.
You think that confidence level kind of spiked because they were down by so much? Like they were making a little bit of a comeback, but there wasn't as much pressure on that if it was closer.
I wouldn't say it's a confidence thing. I think he was able to play free.
Right. That's
Right.
good.
It's not
Exactly.
like you're defending a lead or something like
Yeah.
that, where, you're again like talking about time traveling, where he's looking at that putt and going, okay, well, if I miss this putt, then there's X, Y, and Z that happens, and then I've got to worry about, all the three other guys who are behind me.
Yeah.
So I think what we got to see from the US in the Ryder Cup, we got to see on that Sunday, you got to see some pretty free golf. Right?
Yes.
Like there's
Uh,
like ball out or go home. Like that, those are the only two options. And like,
mhm.
I'm sure that there was a whole bunch of nerves, right? I'm sure there was a lot of like thinking and feeling going on throughout those rounds, but you get to just go, right? There's no in between. Go out, play aggressive, right? Like
Yeah.
go pin hunting, go, do everything that you can in order to be successful. And I think that's what we saw. And I think that's why Sunday was such an electric day, because they were able to just go out and play free. Now, you look at the European side, one of the things that Europe has going for them that I'm just baffled that the US has never gone into is their team chemistry is off the charts. They spend a lot of time together, but they also spend a lot of time together on the golf course where they do a lot of mindfulness work as a group. So they can, work with each other. They can ebb and flow with each other, right? Like you
Mhm.
don't see that on the American side, which is tragic.
Yeah. Just go to the beach and play a pickup football game. We'll do it.
Yeah.
Like that's the first thing I did actually with my I'm coaching a 12-year-old team with JV baseball.
Let's go.
And first practice, nobody, only three of the kids had met me before. So I showed up and we did a little like skills evaluation. I want to see where I'm going to put them and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, drop your gloves. We're playing football. Like I know how to build a
Absolutely.
team, and the best way is just to play another sport and like let's
Yeah.
team up and have some fun.
Go have fun.
And with some competitiveness as well. They want to, and that's just it was a blast. And
Yeah.
I guarantee that one first practice is just going to make everybody just sync up just a little bit. And to your point, like if you just go to a bar, I know they like to do the pubs
Yeah.
just celebrate before they even start, right? They're celebrating together as like we made the team, let's be a team, and then
Yeah.
let's show up as a team. I agree with you. I don't really think that the American Ryder Cup team has that natural team chemistry because they want to almost play to the media with the rivalry stuff so much to build the brand, and everybody's kind of chasing Scotty, but Scotty's this nice guy and JT's like this kind of bad boy, but so is Bryson, but they're on different sides of the spectrum. It just doesn't sync up well for team until
Yeah.
that last day when you're like, okay, we have way too much talent to be getting stomped on. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on
Yeah.
here?
Yeah. And I think you look at like the way that the Ryder Cup is laid out, right? Like it's not, the golf is very much an individual sport. The Ryder Cup is not an individual sport. It's not an individual event. You get into alt shot, that's a different beast, man. You got to there's a lot of trust that goes into that.
I love all shot. I think it's the coolest thing.
Yeah. I'd love to see more of it, but
Yeah, I love alternate shot. I definitely want more match play on tour. I loved the Dell match play when they had it. I don't know what happened with the viewership there. It's not like, in golf, any given Sunday type thing. If when you had the brackets, the pools, I thought usually produced the solid golfer,
Yeah.
Just like March Madness, there'd be a couple upsets, but typically your 1, 2, 3 seeds would get out. And then you'd have a finish. Like I remember a few years ago, a while ago, Dustin Johnson, John Rahm in the final. Like that's awesome. In match play style, that's sick. I definitely want more of that. And in match play, you could easily go LPGA, PGA as well. They're sick.
Wiping the floor with
They're
everybody.
sick. Did you see? I don't know if you're on Twitter or see some of those polls, but there was one talking about would a scratch handicap male golfer beat an LPGA Tour pro from the same. No shot. I'm on the no way bandwagon. Even if even a +2 is not beating an LPGA pro.
Because you think about it, like a PGA pro, they're probably what, like a +8?
I'd say +5 to +8, but on the hardest type of sloped course.
Yeah.
I don't think the average +2 or scratch is playing enough diversity of courses to have their game tested as much.
Yeah. And I think
And tournament conditions.
Yeah.
I highly doubt it.
Yeah. And I would say the LPGA is probably the same.
Yeah. If you're a +3 even at your country club that you play 60 times a year and you probably, let's say you play 12 to 15 other courses, it's not nearly as close. LPGA girl probably playing like 30 to 40 different courses, all tournament condition, PGA, like, top tier.
Different styles of courses, different.
Yeah. And probably at worst popping a 74.
Yeah.
Like,
it's insane.
Distance and distance will be your best friend. You'd have to be unbelievable at putting that day. But if you shot, say you pulled the 66, 65 out of your ass, that's probably your best bet.
Yeah.
But that's a hell of a day.
You have to have a hell of a day, and she probably has to have a very average okay day.
Like a good day with like a bogey or two. But she's gonna make plenty of birdies. And if it's match play, I don't think the discussion was ever match play or stroke play, but stroke play you're getting spanked. You'd have a shot at match play maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Eke out a couple holes here and there.
Yeah, I like that idea though. Is people thinking they can do that? You're out of your mind. So yeah, that was the clip I had was just something I stumbled across and was curious about that. Very much mental. All it screamed to me mental.
I say it all the time. Like, performance is, and this is from Peter Haberl, but performance is nothing but a game of attention. It's your greatest currency. It's just your ability to attend to the shot that's in front of you, and do it, 70 times, 80 times,
90.
90. What are some of the biggest hiccups that you've seen giving lessons and stuff like that? As far as average golfer, like, just kind of working your way up the skill tree. Like, what are the big fixes? Because, like, I know for me, like, I think of everything psychologically, but, like, think about, like, when we played, right? Like, you said to me, like, my backswing is probably my biggest issue. I just get too trapped on the inside. Like, is that common?
Well, before even that, when I see your swing, I don't necessarily even start with the backswing. I'd see that as you're taking it back, you had way too much weight on the front, like your front foot. Like that's my first visual cue on the body. So what I see the most in lessons, or even just walking up and down the driving range, the biggest thing that I notice is so many people working on where their hands are and where their arms are at, not understanding, realizing, or knowing that it's the body movement from the torso and the lower body that drives where your arms go. Essentially, if you keep everything connected, you don't have to worry about the arms very much. They're more or less along for the ride. You want to have a good grip, a correct grip, and kind of know where the path is. But if you don't even understand where the path is and how your arms get delivered there, because you don't put them there, they get delivered to that position. Once that happens, they're just along for the ride from the top of the backswing down.
Gotcha.
If you do correct body movement, sequencing, timing, pressure shifting, rotation, the arms naturally drop into place. So when everybody talks about, I just really want to, I got to get in the slot. I used to be in the slot. I got to get in the slot. It was like, well, you didn't change anything on purpose, right? So that means a compensation occurred. If you used to do that, now you don't. What happened? Were you practicing that at all? Or you just like, you knew you were there and now you're not? 10 years later, 8 years later, and you work wherever you work and you do whatever you do, you train however you train, something shifted, something changed, something got locked up, restricted, and now you swing this way. So it's the body. I just went to the chiro yesterday because I have been feeling some hip and lower back tightness, and I have one of the most extenuous recovery routines. Like I have a lot of myofascial release stuff. I know how to take care of myself muscular wise, and I go to the chiro. because I'm like, no matter what I do, something's not working. I'm still tight and kind of achy around the hip area. So we go and check, and my pelvis is like slightly shifted to the left, right? Slightly. It's not up or down. It's not tilted forward, just slightly shifted to the left. And just a centimeter, I believe it was a centimeter. I'm not going to blame my hooks on that, but I am predisposed to being open.
Yeah.
And thinking about that, I'm thinking about everybody else's crazy bodies, right? You got surgeries, you have tears, maybe partial tears, full on replacements. What does that do to your swing before it even starts? What are you predisposed to?
Yeah.
Making some sort of body adjustment. Your body's going to make an adjustment. If you can imagine, the body is basically like, how do I describe this? The body's, I want to say compensator, but I'm looking for another word, where it's going to protect itself. And,
For sure.
and the way it does that is by shying away from where the pain might be. Your brain's very smart. So you're not going to get into a position that you may need to get into, try to get into, especially during a lesson. If you, this is the biggest thing, the point I'm trying to make is the biggest thing I see in lessons is compensation methods away from what their body can't do, but they don't know it. You don't know it because that's what feels normal and natural, but it's actually your body shying away from something it cannot do. So when you try to make that adjustment, you may feel it and do it, but you're not going to be able to do it on your own.
Right.
Like without a training guide right behind you, or training wheel, or somebody telling you that, or that's why video feedback is so important.
Start to see some of those compensations start to come through.
Yeah, if you could see the compensation, you can start working on the stretching, mobility, fitness, training that will require certain exercises to help you feel it in the body, so that your body awareness, if you think Madden ratings start to climb up.
Right.
Your body awareness goes from 68 to 82, like that'd be a huge uptick, and you might not be making great contact quite yet, but your body is starting to like develop into the athlete that's required to play the sport.
And I almost think that's kind of the big piece, is like people forget that golf is like, it's an athletic movement.
Extremely.
Yeah.
Extremely. And
everybody just pictures golf as just like, just kind of like a hoity-toity, like just go out for, shits and gigs.
And it can be, and it certainly can be. But if you love the game and you want to continue playing the game, you have a way more likely chance to get injured as opposed to be crazy physically fit, because golf's your only cardio. Right? That's not going to happen. You're not going to end up like a marathon runner level of cardio if you're playing 5 days a week walking. No, not at all.
Golf shouldn't be a cardio event.
It's a low level cardio event. Like you're definitely getting I'll never take it away. You're definitely getting exercise in, but you're also at the same time putting a lot of stress on one side of the body.
Yeah.
Rip and tear. Right. Just like tires. It'd be like you're always a lefty or swinging right to left. It'd be like your front tires just never getting rotated.
Yeah.
For an amateur, they're just struggling. You would struggle in a training session with me.
For sure.
I'm not talking about you, just like anybody. Like you if I were to train you and say this is a golf specific training session and I'm going to push you, you're going to be winded.
Absolutely.
I guarantee it. It's just like anything else. It would start really slow, but I'm going to finish pretty hard. And it's pretty intense. And I put all my clients through it. I don't care what age you're at. We do it safely, but it's a workout session. It's a training session. I'm moving your body and I'm going to push it so that you're able to do more during your swing.
Right.
And that's what you ultimately want. If you say you want distance, I want more accuracy, I want more consistency, then your balance better be up, your rotation better be solid, and there better not be as little of restriction as we can create.
Yeah.
With whatever you're presenting.
Yeah.
And that's tough. And that's much, much easier said than done. And to the point of my chiro appointment, right? Like I literally did it just to make sure.
Yeah.
Because I was feeling it. I have probably 199 body awareness. I know exactly what's going on in here. And I knew something was wrong with the pelvis. I knew that's exactly where it was all originating from. And just to find out it's a centimeter is like, okay, now I know exactly what to work on though. There's no guessing anymore. I was kind of guessing.
Yeah.
Now there's no guessing. And I can now adjust my training, stretching, all the recovery stuff I do to make sure that I try to rotate that back. I can even adjust my whole stance.
Yeah. So for something like that, like you said, like you can adjust your whole stance, like would that be to adjust for that compensation that naturally occurs?
In this case, it's not a compensation. I would be purposely compensating.
Gotcha.
Like if I know, instead of a natural one that your body just does, you don't know what's happening. I can adjust and just basically I can rotate my hip or take a step back with the right foot, an inch, maybe a centimeter.
Yeah.
As best I can. I'm not gonna be perfect every time, but just by doing that, then I'll know that I'm square.
Right.
As opposed to being over the ball and saying, okay, I feel like I'm open, but I can't be because my feet are aligned.
Right,
My
right.
hip, I'm looking right at the ball. I know my shoulders are square. I know my feet are square, but I can't physically see inside my body that's actually turned more open left to the target, which is where I normally miss.
Interesting.
Right? I
Yeah.
normally miss. I normally pull it, so it makes total sense.
It's always just fascinating whenever you get on the topic of like the body and all of the minor things that make a massive difference.
Mhm.
And one of the things that keeps going through my mind is like for all those people who want to be getting better at golf, like it all starts from awareness, right? Like you're
Correct.
talking about body awareness, the stuff that I'm talking about is like the awareness of what's going on internally.
Yep.
And like if you don't know what's going on, like good luck making any changes. I just think about like the clients that you see or like the people that I work with and they ask about golf and they say like, okay, how do you get better? It's like, well, step one, pay attention.
Pay attention. Wholeheartedly agree with that. And it's the same as like I watch a lot of horror movies, and
Okay.
I'm very familiar with the rite of exorcism at this point.
Yeah.
But like you have to know the demon's name to exercise it. So you have to know what your problem is, and the first step of that is paying attention to the problem.
Yeah.
Or what even may be the problem. You might not know, and that's okay. But like the first thing you do when you go to a doctor is explain your symptoms.
Yeah.
It's like, so what are the symptoms? What are you feeling?
And then I'm also curious as and I say this more from like the mental side of the house is like how many of the things that you're labeling a quote unquote problem actually aren't a problem.
That's a good question. I'll take it one step further and just say that they may be a problem, but there's two different ways it could go. One would be it still is a problem, but priority wise,
Yep.
maybe further down than what you would think. I get
Yep.
a lot of people that know they're over the top. You can't just fix over the top. You have to adjust the body again. So one would be going toward the path of all right, let's figure out what the priorities are, and then the other road is where's the root?
Yeah.
Where's the actual root of this problem? Right? Just because you have a fever doesn't mean it's because of your runny nose.
Right.
Right? Right?
Yeah,
It'd be
exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
it'd be
I
a
know that
further
all
issue.
getting to the actual root of what it is that you're trying to do, right? Like
Mhm.
getting away from like labeling things as a problem. It's just like, no, we've just got to move better.
Yeah.
Right? Like, like
Yeah.
like you were talking about like that over the top piece. It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, sure, like like are you swinging over the top? Yeah, but the issue isn't you going over the top, it's you not being able to move properly. So
Yep.
let's just move.
Pretty much every time.
Yeah,
Pretty much
yeah,
every time.
right. And it's like, I think a lot of people like hear stuff like this and they're like super overwhelmed with like where to start. And I always say just do it poorly. Whatever you're
Yeah.
trying to do, like just do it bad.
Yep.
Doing it bad is better than not doing it.
I would say to that same person, I mean, it's just one of those sports. You have to film yourself.
Yeah.
Like we talked about it, a couple weeks ago, but like you have to be comfortable filming yourself as bad as it may be. You don't have to film the whole session,
Yeah.
but you definitely want to get 3 to 4 swings, wedge, mid iron, wood.
Yeah. And even if you're uncomfortable doing it, just do it.
Just do it.
Right. Like,
You could shank all of them. It doesn't matter.
yeah,
You need to know
exactly.
why. You need to know why.
Exactly. And I think that's the thing is people are in this like quest for comfort
Mhm.
within a golf training regimen. It's not comfortable. Like you're trying
Mhm.
to make improvements.
I like this one Instagram account. Let me get it real quick. I think it's Golf 3D Golf, 3D Golf Decoded. What they do is very, very interesting. I haven't seen many accounts like that where they basically show the golf swing from a anatomical point of view in 3D, and they break down what parts of the body are required to do the specific thing that they are talking about in the video.
That's pretty cool.
It's awesome. It's exactly how my language speaks, but in a visual perspective. And
Yeah.
it's perfect. It's perfect because again, if you can't do those things, forget about getting into that prime ideal position. Forget about it. You're gonna have to find another way, and that way is probably gonna break down.
Yeah.
There is a right way to swing a golf club. There's no right way on how it looks.
Bingo. You have to get the basic kinematic functions down.
Correct.
And
And
then you
that
bring your own
involves flow.
personality into it.
That involves a fluid motion that has to work its way from like you're building power from the ground. The ground push power down, power comes back. And
Yeah.
if it runs into a roadblock among your systems, then something's going to have to compensate.
Yeah.
And however many you have creates the more compensations, creates either injury or just poor contact, poor swing, can't play the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is that simple, and for nobody can deny it's not a deniable thing. Like,
No.
this is not a
No.
deniable thing.
Yeah.
I think Dr. Rose actually said it in an episode. He was talking about, or he was with a player and asked him point blank, just like, what do you think is the most important thing in golf, like body or equipment? And I don't think the guy answered, but he was like, it's your body, right? If I break your arm, you
You're
can't
done.
play. You can't
Yeah,
play. But
exactly.
if I go ahead and snap your 3 wood in there, you can still play golf, right? You're gonna be down a club, but you can still play.
Yeah, and you know there's so much technology that's out there that can aid in you getting better at a quicker rate. You can still play old clubs. You know,
Sure,
like
sure.
you could take the technology out and still be a good golfer. Like the
It helps.
technology
Yeah,
is
certainly helps.
yeah.
Certainly helps.
If you can move through space effectively,
Mhm.
sure, like technology is absolutely going to help you, but it's not a prerequisite. Technology is not a prerequisite to playing golf.
No, no,
You know,
absolutely
being
not.
able
And
to
I
do it certainly is.
Yeah,
Certainly,
and adding in the mental piece is a huge focus for me, and definitely you moving forward, right? Like teaching people that to do what I'm teaching them to do will only add to their ability to do what you want them to do.
yeah, yeah,
Having the mental confidence in their competency, knowing that they have done like they've done the right things
yeah.
to make the best swing possible. It doesn't mean the best outcome will happen, but but they'll be comfortable with what they put into it.
It it's like a buddy of mine coaches Division 1 golf, and we were playing one day, and you know he's all frustrated, and so we were on like the 10th tee box, and he's like, "What do you think my score is right now?" And I was like, "I don't know, like 4 or 5 over." Then he was like, "I'm 2 under right now," and I'm like, "Ah, damn."
Hmm.
You know, so but one of the things that he was saying was like, you know, I can have a bad round, but I always have a swing that I've had since I was 7 years old. That
Mhm.
if everything blows up, all the things that I'm working on blows up, I have this one swing that I can trust every day of the week and twice on Sundays. And when I think about like that progression of like getting better and better, you know, into the higher stages in golf, and like that can even be as much as like trying to break 90 or trying to break 80, right? Like if you don't have the trust in the movement, we can do all the mental work that we want.
Mhm.
It's a competency issue. It's not so much a mental issue, right? So it's like you have to be able, like you were saying, to develop that trust not only in just yourself, but it has to be in the body as well. Of
Yeah.
like, hey, I've got to drive up here. Can I do the things that are necessary regularly, body wise, to produce a swing?
Mhm.
Yes. Okay. Now we can start getting into how are we oriented? What are the things that we're focusing on? Where is our attention going?
Yeah, so I'll finish. Let me finish with this
Yeah,
because I want to ask a question on that. Most people that I see didn't start when they were younger,
for sure. Yeah.
right? So to your point to the coach, like swing since he was 7, you're not really going to need a lesson unless there's a tune-up of some. Probably, if I just can't figure something out, you're going to go see a single lesson, it'll click, and you'll be done. Most of the
Yeah.
people I see are either picking the game up or revisiting the game after X amount of years,
Yeah.
um, and they have no confidence in in that twice on Sunday swing.
Yeah.
Do you need to let go of more
For sure. For
or
sure.
think more into the future of what you want to do, or is that like a disappointing piece? Like you could
Yeah.
be, yeah,
Yeah. You have to play golf, not golf swing, right? Like,
break
you
that
know,
down.
so if you're out there and you've got the swing that you've got, right? Like, you know, if when we played, if we were playing in a competitive round, that's the swing that I had. That was the swing that I had that was with me. I can't change anything about that.
Right.
I have to go out and still play with the swing that I have, even though I'm uncomfortable, even though I don't like the outcomes that I'm getting. I have to be able to work within that. Right.
Mhm.
So, like, to your point, yeah, like I would say the vast majority of golfers don't have that. And that was one of the things that he said to me was like, you're never going to have that because you didn't play when you were 7 years old. But you have to be able to trust the game that you do have. I can't have the expectation to go out there and shoot 72 every time I go play if I don't have the competency to go out there and do that.
But a
Right. So,
lot of people have that expectation
yeah,
of their best of their best game. Like I've
exactly.
seen, say you shot 90, that's bogey golf. Say 88, right? That's my new. A lot of people tell me their furthest drive as how far they drive. Like that's not the case, right? That's I say, is that your furthest ever, or what do you actually average? Right? There's the top off the tee, and then there's the one I hit 280 that one time.
Yeah,
Right? Don't tell me 280.
yeah, yeah,
Same as the score. That's what you're saying. Like I'm bogey golf is what I know I can shoot. How many times? Like is that average or like where are we at here? What are we
yeah. So,
really at?
so, so, like for me, that's average. Like, you know, I
Sure.
say anywhere from like an 87 to a 92. That's just like the most average day for me.
Yeah. Well,
Right?
I'm saying get in order to get better, you have to be realistic about where you're at. Not living in, it's not a fantasy world. You're right. It has happened, but how often? Like, my usual question to people is, your life is on the line, and you have to tell me what you shoot on 9 holes within 3 strokes right now.
Yeah.
That's my question, because I'm bringing it to now. Not what's the best you've ever shot on 18. I want to know in 9 holes, not 18, 9-hole score. Right.
Yeah.
And something you say like, oh, 41 to 44. Okay.
Yeah.
That's something we can work with. That's fine. I understand that. But don't tell me like, yeah, oh, I mean, I have shot 37 one time, but like I'm usually around 45. That's a huge difference.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just being honest with yourself.
Yes. That's
Right.
what I'm getting at.
And I think that the best thing for the average golfer is to just be honest with yourself. I would love to say, you know, my best round ever was 80. I'd love to say that that's what I shot on average. It's just not true. I was playing 4 or 5 days a week when I did that.
Yeah.
And that, you know, I haven't been able to do that for about 3 or 4 years. So I can't have the expectation that I'm going to score that well if I'm not putting in the time and effort to do the things that are necessary to score better.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it's like, okay, how can I go out and play the best round with the game that I have? And now all of a sudden, instead of going out there, you double the first hole and you're ready to snap a club because you had the expectation that you're going to go out and, you know, shoot the course record, or, you know, the dreaded feeling of going, you know, birdie, par, double, you know, because you stand up on 3 and you're thinking about, you know, okay, well, you know, I'm 1 under right now,
Yeah.
I'm playing with house money. And then all of a sudden you're thinking 9 holes ahead on what your score is going to be.
Yeah.
Right. So like there's a place for the mental work within all of that. But you have to be able to be in a place of reality and say, hey, this is where I'm at. Again, going all the way back to what we were talking about at the beginning of like understanding that once that ball makes contact with the club face, you might not have the most control over where it's going or what it's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And like, can you do the things that are going to set you up for success in these uncontrollable environments? Right. Like, do everything that you can in the space that you have control, AKA from when you start your swing to when you finish your swing, exert control there and just trust the game that you have.
Yep.
I'm not going to promise like record-breaking results. Like, you're not going to now all of a sudden be like, yes, I trust the fact, you know, I trust the swing that I have, and now I'm going to go shoot 72.
I guess I'm basically just saying that if, as somebody who would be coming to golf trying to get better, you're listening and you're like, I just want to get better. Where do I start? First thing you have to do is be honest with yourself instead of being discouraged with where you're at. And honesty about where you're at is totally fine. There's nothing negative about it. It's just in my experience when I hear people tell me like, man, I used to do, like, you can hear it in their tone. I used to do this.
Yeah.
I want to do this. Like, I'm struggling with this. Like, okay, but you can reframe that easily. Like, where are you at? And our next question is, what do you do well? What's your superpower on the course?
Yeah.
You know, what do you do really well that like we wouldn't need to touch that? You're good.
Yeah.
Even though we probably will, but you want to be more honest and positive about where you're at. I mean, like, man, I 10 years ago I was really good and I just kind of lost it. I understand that, and I'm ready to make the changes I need to make. Okay, that's a whole better starting point than man, I just can't. I don't know what's going on.
And then I also think too is like, okay, why come back to the game?
Yeah, you love it.
For somebody like that, like why now? Why golf?
Yeah,
right.
Great.
Like, you know, like for me, like shooting 80 was fantastic. Like, I would love to get back there. Right. I'm not doing the things that are necessary to get there, but I know for me, like, you know, this year I want to spend more time focusing on playing golf. It's like, okay, but why? Why do I want to do that? Well, I really care about growing and growth. I'm now, because I'm focused on growth and I want to grow within the game of golf. Okay, well, now I can lean into that discomfort a little bit and I can say, all right, well, what's more important to me? Not being uncomfortable or growing? Because then all of a sudden, like, people are probably expecting a linear improvement. Right? Like, well, I've done all of my lessons. I've done everything that Justin's told me to do. I'm still not seeing the growth in scores, right? You quit immediately, right? But once you're tied to that thing that's deeper of like, hey, remember, this is, you know, we'll use me as an example. Like, hey, remember, this is about growth, right? And you're moving exponentially better. Here, look at these 2 videos side by side. I can say, oh, hey, there's the visual confirmation that I'm doing things better. The scores will follow. Let the scores come.
Speaking my language,
right? It's the detachment from results.
Yeah.
Right. From the tangible score, from the, you know, greens hit, from the fairways hit, from you know, even like the lost balls that you have. Right. I've got some buddies who go out there and they judge their round based off of how many balls they lost.
That's a good barometer.
You know, so it's like yeah, you can keep those metrics, but what's that doing for your game?
It was funny you mentioned the body improvement. I just had a kid, 21 years old. And from day one, and we've only had 3 lessons, from day one to day 3, his contact slightly improved, not much, still
Awesome.
shooting like low hundreds.
Yeah.
But the body movement, I'm like, I told him in his, swing breakdown, I'm like, this is months of work done in like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So this is huge. Like, just because the contact hasn't followed does not mean that it's not right. Like knocking, just try to imagine that image of the meme there with the guy who's like, there's 2 guys who are mining for diamonds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, there's a little bit left and he gives up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the other guy's just like halfway there, but he's still going.
Yeah.
It's like, that's exactly where you're at. It's like you're at, there's always a roadblock moment, exactly like you're talking about it, where if you don't know your why, it's very interesting, as I never bring that up. That could be a piece moving forward, just to have an internal monologue with yourself, like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
But to continue to keep things going, and you should be able to see those results and be like, okay, he's showing me this. Just because I don't have it yet, I got it. Like that's huge. Like it's undeniable. It's on camera. Again, to the camera piece, got to have that feedback. But I just saw it. I just saw it multiple times with people, and so I have had people, be done with lessons and feel like that they failed. And I always go back, so that's not the case. Like, huge improvements.
And then all you're doing is you're just getting into this like this judgment feedback loop where it's, you're blaming at anything and everything to, for you to feel okay with the scores that you're getting. Right. And it's just like you're just focusing on the wrong thing. Like the my opinion, the fun thing about golf is like there's always more. There's always something
more
else that you can do. Like, yeah, sure, you start getting your contact down. Like, what's the next thing you're gonna want to do? Hey, can I move the ball? Maybe that's the thing that they want to focus on next. Right. Like there's always there's so many layers to the game where if you're just looking for outcomes, you're missing such a rich opportunity and a rich environment to go be successful.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the sad part.
See, we're gonna have to dive in next time about why I love coaching baseball more than I like playing it. Because I'm keeping that close to the chest, and I know the reason is because I like the strategy of having my chess players and putting a team out there. Now I was a pitcher, so I was in charge of every pitch of the game, which I really liked. And I love the pressure, and I love throwing strikes, love getting people out, but I freaking love setting a lineup more than that.
Best. It's the best.
But just to the point of, that's why I love golf, is just the creativity and the strategy. Like I like knowing that I'm prepared to create the strategy. So I'm the player and the coach.
And it's a chance to just go be creative.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And like just being able to go out there and be creative on the golf course. Like if you just did that and let the scores fall where they may, I think there could be some great things. Like, hey,
absolutely,
it's just going to be a creative day.
Mm-hmm.
And then you take it and run with it from there.
That would be the one. That'd be the day. That'll be the day next year, 2026. We're shooting sub 70.
Hell yeah.
I'm attached to that score. I'm sorry. I don't care.